Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the New Fashion Conservatives podcast. I'm your host, Justin Phillips, and with me is the one man fighting for physical conservative culture, the man known through the X-verse as Shadow Governor Voss.
Robin Voss's strongest soldier.
And you're going to have to forgive any background noise tonight as we're recording this towards the end of one of the many thunderstorms that took place in southeastern Wisconsin over the past couple of days. So hopefully no rumbles of thunder in the background while we get this going. So as much as we like to get down and frustrated about conservative and Republican losses, and, if you want to go listen to our previous episode with Eric Brooks and Nicole Balistreri to talk about, what went wrong and how bad things are and what we can do to improve it. That's the previous episode. But this past week was a really great reminder that the Democrats are in a constant state of disarray and full of absolute nutballs. So should we begin this week with Sara Godlewski?
I think it's only proper that we do.
Our esteemed Secretary of State, who, according to Wisconsin.gov, is also our state treasurer. It's insane that we wrote that for the Heartland Post and no one fixed it. Like, I'm not saying we have that much influence, but at some point, someone had been like, hey, come on, let's just get that front page correct. But Sara went mega viral this week for not understanding what hail is. And ironically, last week was Severe Weather Awareness Week. And she just went off the rails talking about how uncommon it is for there to be hail in her front yard in Madison. And that clip went everywhere.
Well, the funniest part about this whole thing is that last week, we had this very serious conversation about, Supreme Court elections and how we are as a party, the health of the party. And I think there were some honest criticisms that I think a lot of people can get behind. And it was very tough love, but I think honest. I can certainly feel like I can defend everything I said. And then we have this week, which is just... It's kind of the slop of conservative media, but it's like, it's the low hanging fruit. You can't not talk about it.
Our all candy episode, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, I think this week is going to be a little light on the philosophical, political or policy wise discussion. It'll be heavy on the LOL Democrats are funny because they're stupid side of things. And yeah, so Sara Godlewski, long story short, an insane person.
We'll play the clip.
Republicans say we don't have climate change, but this is golf ball size hail in my front yard. This is not normal, and we can't keep ignoring our environment.
So the clip was everywhere. We wrote about it first in the Heartland Post, but it got traction with the conservative grifter class on X. I saw it on Libs of TikTok. I saw it on David Harris. I saw it with If there was,
any content stealer out there was out there. I mean, to be fair, Sara posted this on her public page, under her real name. So like, she wanted this to go everywhere, and it did. In fact, I mean, I saw it on Newsmax, like yesterday. So
Dean Cain was talking about it.
Everyone had a comment, and it, frankly, you know why it went so viral. This is not the first time a Democrat has talked about climate change and has tried to use the current climate, the current weather to make a political statement. The reason why it went so viral is because Sara lacks genuineness.
Yeah.
She's not genuine. Yeah. And it's incredibly forced. And you can humans are pretty, adept at recognizing when someone's forcing like a behavior or if it's natural. And Sarah's like contrived panic in her voice about with the tornado sirens in the background. It just comes out very inauthentic. And hey, I'm a politician. I need to comment on climate change. Here's the come on, we get it. Politicians are shameless at getting their little niche issue or pushing an agenda. Like, come on, we know politicians do that. And we all know, we can see all this stuff a mile away. But it was just so bad, so unbelievably bad that the right audience got it. And they made fun of her for it.
And you know what's better than that? Now, it's amazing that this went as viral as it did. And it got everywhere. But I made this throwaway joke on our X account, New Fashion Conservatives, about Tamu Leslie Knope begging Dan Schaefer and Laura Schulte at the Journal-Sentinel to run cover for her embarrassing viral moment. And it set them off. So just a little throwaway joke. No big deal. Like,
just like didn't think about it at all. Just
because
quick type up.
Laura Schulte wrote this column that says, basically try to justify what Sara Godlewski was saying.
I mean, it was tamer on the climate change end, but it was definitely like, Sarah's not totally wrong.
Yeah.
Which, are we surprised that this came out like right after Sara did this? But then instantly, yes, our lovely friend of the show, Dan Schaefer, he instantly was like, "Oh, Sarah's vindicated."
Yeah. And then there's the first comment afterwards. Some guy's like, "Thanks, Dan, for carrying water for the Democrats. You're so shameless about this." He's like, "You should read that column. You might learn something." I did. Like, just this fake, forced, disingenuous sort of cover that they're running for Sara, and our little joke caused them to spin out.
Also, my brother in Christ, she's running unopposed for lieutenant governor, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even paid attention to that race so little that I didn't even like. Yeah, she doesn't have an opponent. You don't even need to run cover for her. She doesn't have an opponent. She's walking into a nominee. She's never had a hard race in her entire life.
No.
And I can't wait till one day she does run for the higher office, the one that she's been waiting for the better part of probably going on a decade by the time she actually runs. And it's just completely cut down because she's never had to face any criticism.
Yeah.
Legitimate. All of the criticism that she's had lodged at her has been self-inflicted. I mean, let's look at Sara Godlewski's record, which isn't very long. Okay, she won the treasurer's race. Okay. Tough race, I suppose. You know, it was John Leiber. Hey, that's a tough race. You know,
well, she won it in 18.
I know.
Yeah,
before John Leiber won it in 22. So she won the race in 2018. I guess you have to win a primary for that. Okay. Well, she is pretty wealthy. Her and her husband are pretty wealthy, so that also helps. Then, so she's elected to the treasurer. Then, of course, she runs for U.S. Senate with the primary with Mandela.
Yeah.
And what's his name from the Milwaukee Bucks? And I can't even remember. Oh, Alex Lazary.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone drops out before and allows Mandela. So she drops out. And then after the election, Doug LaFollette conveniently retires.
Yeah.
And she walks into that job. So that's easy. Then she pretends to be the chief election official in Wisconsin, where she's parading some kind of credentialism, which even the media was like, even WEAC, I'm pretty sure, has said, you're being a little misleading. Yeah. You might confuse people.
And don't forget the other one where she's like, claim to have some sort of control over the legislation that gets passed because after Governor Evers signs it, it goes to her office for the seal of the state. And it's like,
which, like, I can again, and I'm very consistent on this. I appreciate the level of dedication and hackiness to exploit every single possible opportunity to get yourself in the headlines. Like that shamelessness is how you get to higher office, frankly. I mean, also being like a good person and being like likable, that helps too. But if you're not likable, then you have to do this stuff. So she has all of that. All of this is self-inflicted, mind you. And then she has the infamous, I don't even remember if you remember this. Remember the igloo picture?
Oh, yeah.
She took a picture and then photoshopped herself in an igloo. I can't even remember the context, but I remember the Photoshop was so bad. It's just like, well, what are we doing? Like, there are apps out there that do this stuff pretty easily, not that hard. You can do that. And then, of course, I think there was a couple other. Then she went radio silent for a while, which I'm pretty sure she deleted the igloo picture as well. Tried to go back and look for that bad boy. And then we come to today, where this might be the creme de la creme, the piece de la resistance, like her being so shameless. And yes, so it leads all up to this interaction that you had mentioned with the Twitter account.
Yeah. And so, clearly Dan Schaefer's in some sort of group chat with these people.
For sure.
And like, Dan,
we are
please bail us out. Make me look good. And it doesn't stop there. It escalates to DPW Chair Devin Remiker, who decided to pick a fight with meteorologist Chris Martz on X. So Chris Martz, very well known, meteorologist. He kind of does the over the videos where he explains why this whatever's going on is ridiculous. He explains the weather very well. And Devin decides
he also happens to be probably a little bit right-leaning.
Yeah.
Which also helps.
But Devin Remiker decides to like go punch for punch with him on stats and statistics. Again, a meteorologist, a man who has studied the weather. And it gets better than that because there's another meteorologist named Matthew Capucci, yes, who piled on to this tweet.
Is that the My Radar guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those of us that download the My Radar thing every time the news says that we're going to have a giant storm, you go to Weather Radar. It's the first app that comes up. The guy who basically runs that thing came in. And I'm pretty sure Devin Remiker even got community noted.
Yes.
And dude got ratioed. I mean, here's a lie that the left loves to they are a slave to credentialism, except for when it goes against their narrative. Because, Devin Remiker, he's so far he's been decently accomplished as DPW chair. He's raised a lot of money, won a Supreme Court race, Ben Wickler successor. But you're not a meteorologist, bro.
Right.
Okay. And hey, we're just playing by your rules. Hey, credentialism, he's got the credentials. He clearly knows more. And I sat there I was scrolling and they just kept on going. It was honestly kind of fascinating. Ben Wickler would have never done this. No. Not saying that you're supposed to or you shouldn't, but I just thought it was fascinating that they were going back and forth about the weather.
Yeah.
But quite the interaction that has made this whole week of weather just a little bit more fascinating.
Yeah, no, I know. So Matthew Capucci makes the comment. He replied to Chris Martz on X, said that Wisconsin Secretary of State Sara Godlewski posted on Wednesday that the golf ball sized hail, quote unquote, in her yard was not normal. An insulated climate event. Democrat Remiker, chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, doubled down and let's examine the arguments. And he screenshotted Remiker's tweet and said, which statement is misleading? And there's several. He's like, by that logic, it goes down and down. He says, by that logic, hail did not occur in Wisconsin prior to 1954. Like just breaking down Remiker's BS and just again, but why Devin Remiker decided to like get this far involved?
He might just really like the climate change. I mean, he might be a truther.
Right.
This might be his issue. I mean, we all have issues, I'm an immigration guy. So like, I'm going to go in the weeds on immigration a little bit. I'm not an expert, but maybe the climate stuff. I mean, to be fair, Devin was pulling out some stuff that like, okay, I'll be honest. I'm not sure I understand totally what you're discussing, but you clearly have more than just a surface level. Now, granted, it sounds like he misinterpreted like graphs just wrong. Like,
yes,
so like
he did.
Okay, like I probably would have also interpreted them wrong because I'm not a meteorologist and I don't know what I'm looking at. But very fascinating. And this kind of goes to a broader conversation about climate alarmism. It's like the perfect boogeyman. First of all, we were probably old enough to remember global warming. I mean, you saw the documentaries, you saw people, the ice is melting, the polar bears, where are they going to go? And now it's climate change, which is, first of all, infinitely more vague. If someone were to ask me, do you believe in climate change? Yes, I believe the climate is changing.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. It changed today. It changed tomorrow. And frankly, for a lot of meteorologists, it changes the storms that we had at the time of recording. Pretty bad, but when they were expected is even worse. The climate changed, and as a result, we didn't have as crazy as it was once projected. It's the perfect boogeyman because the goalpost, it's like a sliding scale.
Yep.
So they can constantly move around and kind of jostle for a position that's probably more favorable. It's like the Earth has probably gone through many cycles of warming and cooling that has resulted in the change. But overall, don't call me a biologist, a geologist or whatever, but like we've been overall okay. So I'm not like it doesn't happen, but to the point of when I see people online, they're like, guys, the entire world, like this is the new normal. It's like, guys, we got a couple inches of rain very quickly when the ground is already saturated. Flooding's going to happen.
Yeah. It's not uncommon. And I think it's wildly disingenuous to say that something that's happened in the past 50 years or how things have changed since industrialization 150 years ago is we're responsible for that when you look at the 5, 7, 10,000 years of human common, civilization as you kind of draw that line.
Well, and reporting too.
Yeah.
Part of the thing that Remaker was basing his data on was like this 1950s data, which is like before 1950. Well, the United States was less populated. There was less reporting of these meteorological events. Then you can maybe assume that maybe some of these events happened. They just weren't being reported. So you have a reporting bias.
I thought I was just watching this thing that I think said that 25% of the United States population in like the early 1900s lived in New York City. Like
that's I mean, think about. I mean, before in the 1900s, there's probably like what, less than 50 million people. And now granted, most of that is because of immigration, and most of the growth in the United States since like the 1990s is like immigration, like alone.
But you talk about global warming to now. I mean, I can say that. In third grade, I was devastated to find out by the time I was going to be 25 years old, we wouldn't have any rainforests.
Yep. Amazon.
I was reliably told that I would not be able to go outside due to acid rain. When's the last time you heard the term acid rain?
Well, ozone.
Yeah.
The emissions are burning a hole in the ozone.
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm pretty sure
it's the strongest.
Yeah, the ozone like closed back up, and it's fine.
The hole is like the smallest it's ever been.
We've never heard that talking point.
No,
it's just completely memory hold.
Everyone in the 80s using hairspray had just eaten a hole.
You're killing the world.
Yeah. And before that, I remember seeing there was a documentary with Leonard Nimoy telling us in the 70s.
Is that the Earth?
That was the world is cooling. We are headed for a new ice age if we don't stop leaded gas or something.
We're probably a decade away from warming and cooling at all times, probably.
So it was.
I'm totally pointing that out on my butt too.
No, but there's the directions are the global cooling to global warming to climate change. These terms that
isn't Earth Day coming up too?
Yeah, it's the end of the month. So it's wild that again to be the Democratic Party of Wisconsin chairman and decide that I need to pick this fight with two meteorologists because Sara Godlewski embarrassed herself in an 11-second video.
I also just don't get like, there are certain things in politics where you just take the L. You don't try to fight it. You don't try to explain it away.
Yeah.
You just forget it happened and just ignore it.
Yeah.
And the news cycle moves on.
Yep.
Well, guess what?
You made it worse.
Yeah. And you just kept on talking about it. And the fact that we've had basically a week of storms on and off too. It's like I took the video of Sara and made it into a GIF because that's how you say it. It's a GIF, not a GIF. Not like a JGIF, and like doubled up the speed, and now it's just a reaction video for everything. Yeah. So I put that online at Robin_Voss_Stan. Feel free to steal that and use it for any reaction type. I'm sure it'll be useful many a time. And I'm assuming Sara will probably be taking a hiatus from the social media until she decides that she needs to start virtue signaling again. So
hopefully not this week with any more rain or tornadoes.
I hope so. I hope they don't take her phone away. Continue, because honestly, it's just been an absolute content mill. Have we been talking about the nuances of policy and how we can better the Wisconsin's tax system, or how we can, make this better? No, it's been a lot of.
She became the main character on the internet. For that day.
I mean, I don't like doing the owning the libs content really, because it's kind of slop. But this one's too good.
Yeah. So I think the only thing better than the chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin picking a wholly unnecessary fight with professional meteorologists to make the lieutenant governor candidate look normal was the knives that are finally out in the Democratic governor's primary.
Maybe little daggers.
Yeah. They're
full knives.
No, yeah, that's true. They're
not like a Bowie knife or anything.
Right. This is a little Peter Pan dagger.
Yes.
Coming out as state senator.
Like a prison shank.
Yeah.
More than anything.
State Senator Kelda Roys fired the first shot Friday on WISN's Up Front, taking direct aim at Mandela Barnes. She said, "We spent tens of millions of dollars trying to elect Mandela to the Senate. Unfortunately, that was unsuccessful." Translation is, Barnes burned through a fortune and still lost to Ron Johnson in what should have been a very winnable race. At a Marquette College Democrats event, Sara Russell Rodriguez openly doubted whether Hong and Barnes could beat Tom Tiffany in November. Just, it's starting. It's happening.
Well,
I wanted that Ron Paul gif.
Yes. Thank you, gif. Well, the funny thing too also was Sara talked to the Marquette Democrats, college Democrats, and it was recorded. I'd probably audio recording only, like someone, I doubt that she knew. Well, she might have known. And this is probably her strongest message to primary voters is I can win. Although the only problem is if you're because the problem is Sara doesn't really have much of a message. Her strongest message is I'm a nurse from Waukesha County, which is becoming more crucial for the Democrats, honestly, at this point. But what is her like? There's no real bona fides for her, like as far as policy, like a unique position, like just generic. So her best talking point is I am the quote unquote most electable. But of course, that's according to what? Like a couple different polls that show like head to heads.
Maybe.
Okay. Based off of some of the comments that you see online from other Democrats, as I am a lifelong Democrat myself, saying that she is polling at like 3% in the Marquette poll. So that's not, that's not exactly.
That's not confident. That's not
exactly confidence for being the most electable when the primary voters don't see that. Now, granted, a lot of money is still left to be sent. Everyone is sitting on a lot of money. What I haven't looked obviously at the campaign finance reports. Maybe we should do that here soon to determine who's spending a lot of money to chase more money or who's been sitting on it waiting for this post-April election to start dumping. But I mean, definitely it's Sarah's strongest message, but will people buy that?
No,
I don't know.
I struggle to think that because, she hasn't shown that she's electable in the Democrat primary. And if the primary voters are going, base is wholly based on Reddit and the city of Madison, like she's pretty screwed at that point.
I mean, Francesca has she spent a lot of money so far chasing money because of she's tons of small dollars. I mean, I think the other this week she said that she had like 7,500 or maybe it was closer to 10,000.
She has a lot of we had talked about this. We predicted this in like our first couple episodes that she was going to have a ton of small dollar donors.
But like what Kelda said in her interview on Upfront is, well, there's still a lot of money to be spent, which obviously influences a lot of people, which is why no one has dropped out yet. So the question is, do you think we get any dropouts? So when do people start dropping out? So, and it's like, when is the point of no return? Because at some point you're going to be like, I guess I'm in it.
This month is the point of no return.
Oh, boy,
because nomination papers went out 2 days ago. And I think if you're gonna drop out, your windows to drop out are basically like not so close to the April election that it draws attention away. So your window was January, February, which half of those candidates were only 3 months into their campaign at that point. Like it was a really short, so they're not getting out at that point. So then it's now. It's after the April election. This is the exact window because now you're sending out those nomination papers. You're asking people to collect signatures for you.
If you're Kelda, do you send out signatures for state senate and governor?
Oh gosh, it wouldn't surprise me.
I feel like Francesca's done either way. Like she's saying that. I mean, she's in a good enough spot that it would probably be dumb to drop out even at all. Right. Because even if people pour in money and she's still pulling at 15%, like realistically, someone could win the primary with 25%. If it's equally divided more or less. Right. Someone could win with, which is like crazy to think that 25%.
I mean, we've talked about there's 6 viable candidates and probably 8 total candidates.
Yeah. I struggle to keep them all
Yeah.
In my head.
I mean, the one who might not make the ballot just off of is Brett Halsey. There's another guy he's been invited to one of the debates. He's a high school college
Roper.
kid. Yeah. So I think he got invited to one of the candidate forums, but
I haven't seen anything from him.
No, and
I don't even know his background.
Same, other than him being 22 years old and a college student or just a post-college student. But yeah, he might not make the ballot, and Brett Halsey might not make the ballot out of the function of not being able to collect enough signatures. But at this point,
do we remember how many signatures?
It's 2,000 to 4,000
to just get on the ballot.
Just get on the ballot. Yeah, 2,000 is the base, so you got to turn in
at least 2,000.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, you got to turn in probably 3,500.
Oh yeah,
3,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously get over, but that's
because there are certain people, let's call them us, for the sake of argument, who would go through some of those papers with a fine-tooth comb if someone had turned in 2,100 or less.
I won't be doing that because I want them all. I want as many people on the ballot as
possible.
I
do. But if there's someone that turns in like 2,050 signatures,
you give Democrats a hard time, but I don't think they're that. They'll get more than that.
Let me just point out that there was a race. Mandela Barnes was running for assembly, and this was, again, several years ago, turned in 210.
Oh, wow.
And I was the one who was saying,
we should challenge 10 signatures.
We should challenge 11 signatures. Like, that's all you need. Like, so that's my point is like,
that's one sheet.
Yeah. You turn in barely above the minimum, you're going to get those challenges. And besides, it's not just us. Like, if you're Kelda Roys and Missy Hughes turns in,
challenging your opponents for sure.
Exactly. You want to get as many off the ballot as possible. So,
but leave it to Kelda. I know that the Sara Rodriguez story about her talking about, first of all, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. That Journal Sentinel story, she says, "Oh, I love Fran. I love everything.
We're BFFs.
We're friends." That might come back to haunt her if she makes it past the primary.
Yeah,
which would be hilarious if Fran becomes a hit in the governor's race.
Even if she's
not even on the ballot.
Yeah.
But even like that was, Sara didn't put that out on purpose. She didn't probably want that to go out.
Yeah.
She wants to maintain the image of, I'm not attacking the Democrats, but I'm the strongest candidate.
It's interesting that she's saying that to college Democrats and not to like the Democrat women of Waukesha County or something. Like,
I mean, she probably is.
But it's interesting that she's still stuck with that message for college kids because Francesca is like the darling of the Reddit.
Well, what if I had told
you
that she is saying that everywhere? No, I don't. I don't have a source. It's okay. But that's her. It's her strongest message. I'm not surprised she said it, but she didn't want that to be public. So someone wanted that out. Either, it can help her, I guess, in a way, and it could hurt her. But I would say Kelda's the first one to throw the stone, which should surprise.
We said this at the beginning. Kelda's going to be the first one. We've called this.
Yes. We've got a pretty decent.
She must have been feeling extra spunky getting the WEAC endorsement.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a pretty. Totally forgot about that. I'm so glad you brought that up. The WEAC endorsement.
Yeah.
The teacher unions endorsed Kelda. Because she's the farthest left candidate that possibly has a chance of being elected.
Yeah.
WEAC is probably, they're political enough to realize that Mandela is damaged goods.
Mm-hmm.
Franny is too radical, for the electorate, probably. Yeah. Kelda is about as far left as you can possibly get while still being just electable. Because she's, for as much crap as we get her, her lane is not clearly defined for the general public, but for us, we see her as the complete radical, but just with a slight more of the political polish. Also just a shameless politician who will say anything to get elected.
Yeah.
And so WEAC probably sees that and says, she's our best bet.
Yep.
She is our best bet. So, but this further divides the primary.
Mm-hmm.
For someone that has 1% in the primary, I mean, it also depends on how much stuff WEAC does for her. Are they going to the wall?
You got to think there's something on that's more than just the stamp of approval on that she can put on lit pieces. Like, there's going to be some money in there. The PACs are going to funnel some money to her.
Well, yeah, and she'll get access to their mailing list and be able to mail up their list that hey, I'm the endorsed one. But I just don't. I just further fractures the primary to the point where, if she's getting if she's pulling at 1% or near to nothing, and this helps her a little bit marginally. it doesn't help her a ton, but it certainly doesn't help the other candidates.
No.
I mean, we're talking, you need every percentage you can possibly get,
Right. You make a good point, though, that like, who else would WEAC pick? Like maybe Crowley, because he's running the campaign of a white woman. Like they're not going to pick Brennan because he's just the rich guy. They're not going to pick Missy because she's too business focused.
Too moderate.
And I think she has a decent enough understanding of like when you go to some of those businesses, they have these high school programs that take kids out of public schools or out of the out of the traditional classroom and put them in these shops and let them learn for half a day and work for half a day. I think she understands that.
I guess I could, I could see Mandela potentially as well, but I just think Mandela's so damaged goods.
Yeah, he is.
Everyone is like,
you're running the risk of like, and I don't know if it's as true in Milwaukee as it is in some other major metropolitan areas that like Mandela is betraying the black community because he's not letting them get out of the public schools. Because there's, who benefits from the private schools in the city of Milwaukee, or the choice schools in the city of Milwaukee? It's
predominantly in black neighborhoods and such.
Yeah. So, and Francesca is too. Like that's really surprising to me. We talk about she is the farthest left. She's made that known. What surprises me, and maybe it shouldn't, but as someone who has a little bit of political instinct, what surprises me the most is she still is like going hard in the paint for the Socialist Caucus and releasing the
Kelda?
bills. No, Francesca.
Oh, sorry.
She's going hard for these like the far left bills, like the ones that get released after session, so the Dems can say, "Well, we're starting the conversation," or "We want to make it." She still endorsed a hooker's bill of rights. Like
she's a true believer,
but she's so far out of the mainstream that she's not even has the sense to like.
This is going to be a case study. This is going to be a case study. Zora Mondani. Obviously, it's as Sara said on that secret recording or alleged secret recording with the Marquette College Dems. She even said, she's like, "This isn't New York. This is this is Wisconsin, where voters are kind of fickle and swingy." And then Fran comments, "Well, I love Wisconsin because they're fickle and swingy." Like kind of a jab back. But Sara is right. Like this isn't New York. You can only. Wisconsin's weird politically, and if you try to predict it, they surprise you. And everyone likes to try to pin down the swing counties. We have like swing municipalities, swing townships, in like southwestern Wisconsin that'll just flip back and forth depending on midterm presidential.
I mean, there were like Hillary or Kamala Markline voters, and these are Tranel, Kamala Tranel voters.
Yeah, but it can split the other way where maybe Fran's. I mean, she's got nothing to lose, really. I mean, she's playing with house money. So she's probably just saying, I'm just going to see this to the end. If I win, great. If I lose, like
she's going to.
I tried it.
Right. And she's going to be, if she doesn't go back to the restaurant world, she's going to be the head of some
go back.
far
she's
left.
Still there. She says she still works there, part-time or whatever.
Which restaurant? I mean, her husband's restaurant, Morris Ramen, that was named after her husband, was closed.
She says she's still working as a line cook somewhere.
Yes, or at the same restaurant that Rebecca Cook.
Oh yeah,
waitresses.
It's just a front for consultants or something, or for their candidates to say they're working in the service industry.
It's cheap food, but they're paying $3,500 a plate for the waitress and the cook. Cook. Done. No, it is just a fascinating. You're right. There's going to be a case study of this, and you're right. She'll go back to.
It'll be historic one way or another.
Someone will give her some money for a restaurant that's not named after her husband that they had to sell or get rid of after they split up for reasons that remain unknown to not enough people. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I think, Kelda, we said she was going to be the first one to fire a shot. This is the first shot. I think other candidates are going to flex that muscle. It's just, I really want to know if like Missy or Joel Brennan decide to dip into that fray, or are they going to try to take the high ground and be like, we're not the negative candidates, and think they're going to get the surge at the right time from the suburban, ex-urban Democrat voters who can maybe a bit more pragmatic than the Reddit class.
So boring. Just I don't know what lane they think that in this day and age. Maybe if it was like 1998, they would have a chance, but the Democrat base is so riled up over Trump, which like big surprise that Joel Brennan is the last thing that they.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think they're riled up over Trump. They're probably a little bothered that Tony wasn't as far left.
Yeah,
as he should have been.
I mean, they think he was a loyal soldier and he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah,
but that was about it.
Yeah,
he did what he was supposed to.
But he didn't end school choice. He didn't legalize marijuana. He didn't, raise taxes on the mythical billionaires that live in the state.
Tony Evers is the school choice governor.
Yeah,
the largest increase in school choice since its inception.
Yeah,
thanks to Tony Evers, and of course the legislature.
Yeah, of course. The Republican. Yeah, so. He did, and that Kelda was like.
But of course, the 400-year veto was payment back to the unions for signing that. So you give some, you get some, you get saddled with some others. Yeah,
but while the Democrat candidates that weren't named Mandela Barnes were trying to shank each other, Mandela Barnes actually got the Heartland Signal, which is the far inferior online publication.
Not to be confused with the Heartland Post, of course.
The far superior product. Correct. And the best place for news in the state of Wisconsin.
Completely different color scheme. Yep. The nice green with the kind of the gold. Heartland Post compared to the beta soy
powder baby
blue. Yeah, don't need any of that.
So he went there and got them to write what probably is the dumbest, most hyperbolic scare piece you could imagine. So according to Mandela Barnes, Tom Tiffany is going to kill the Green Bay Packers by staying silent on potential changes to the 1961 federal law that helped equalize NFL broadcast revenue. So background here is that the House Judiciary Committee and its Subcommittee on Administrative State, Regulatory Reform, and Antitrust have been reviewing the decades-old act amid shifts to streaming platforms, antitrust concerns, and fan complaints about blackouts and multiple subscriptions. So Barnes is quoted saying he and his MAGA allies, just take a shot for every time you hear a talking point. He and his MAGA allies are working to gut the very law that keeps small market teams like the Packers in cities like Green Bay. Barnes also suggested that Tiffany sides with billionaire NFL donors who love nothing more than to move our team. Has anyone in the world ever suggested that the Green Bay Packers are going to relocate?
Well, I know the Packers, they did something. They put out some, they were on the news talking about, this might be tough for us. And yeah, they got to do, they have a government affairs person.
They have an agenda. Sure. They have their wants.
Of course. But to say that the Green Bay Packers are all of a sudden going to hold us hostage or something and leave, it'd be insane. So that won't happen. And I think saw on social media that Tom Tiffany actually met.
Yeah, he's meeting with Packers executives. He's actually doing the blocking and tackling of legislating.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Blocking and tackling of legislating. Unlike Mandela, who just had. And can we talk about, yes, I understand when you bring the Packers in anything political, it's naturally kind of a winner. Hence why Tammy Baldwin brings the stupid Green Bay TV bill every 4 years to tout around, and then nothing ever happens.
Surprisingly enough, she actually did it in a non-election year. Maybe to provide cover for Mandela Barnes, but
that also might be true.
She doing something for the state of Wisconsin, and when she's not up for re-election is shocking to me.
Incredible. But obviously, I know we're still very early. I know we're all anxious to get towards the summer, the primary season, and then obviously to the general, which will happen very quickly. However, you have to imagine that they're going to hit Tom on a lot of things like congressional record. I know that toxic Tom, PFAS, whatever. And then this Packers hit, I'm sure there will be bigger hits, but it seems kind of lame.
Yeah, it does.
The attacks are kind of lame right now from the Democrats. And who's
buying this?
It's also early and not many people are paying attention, but I'm just trying to think back to 2022. And obviously we were in the midst of the Rebecca Tim Michaels primary. I mean, it was full blast right now.
Yeah.
I mean, middle of April, 1 month to convention. Things were going crazy. And I can't remember exactly if the Democrats weren't really hitting Tim Michaels on anything really that's
no, they were saving their ammo.
Yeah. Because obviously we have essentially one candidate, so they can do that. But I was just trying to compare. I think I just have PTSD from the Hovde race because Hovde was our candidate, and they hit him on, the location stuff early and often. And that stuff, it wears on people. And Tom Tiffany came out with an ad this week. It was his intro ad.
Yeah.
It's You Betcha. And it was about everything Wisconsin. Tom Tiffany is everything Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And, talk about how people say I'm cliche or whatever, but, I did raised on a dairy farm and was a dam tender. And here's my mother who's knitting. And
that was really adorable. She's like, what?
Well,
she kind of pokes her head up.
So I encourage everyone to go and watch that ad. Yeah. Great ad, a good introductory ad, not offensive. I think it was 7 figures too.
Yeah.
So
it's legit. Good
amount of money. But that is what the Democrats do. They get their ads out there. They reinforce the ideas early. I know everyone says, I hate political ads. I'm so tired of this. Well, you know what? People wouldn't do them if they didn't work.
Right.
Okay.
Same thing with I don't like it when politicians go negative and there's attack ads.
Shut up. They work.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why they do them. It's because it works. It moves people. People spend a lot of money on polling to figure these things out.
Yeah.
So good for Tom for getting that out there and kind of
the sliding old fashioned was just perfect. Straight out of Cheers.
A little tchotchke, but come on, Wisconsin is it's a little tchotchke.
Yeah.
We love it though. It's not a slight. It's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that continues.
But yeah, I'm just shocked that Mandela would again, you look at his statement and he's like billionaire NFL donors siding with Tom Tiffany to move the Green Bay Packers. Come on. I mean, this isn't,
you're reaching pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about the team that's owned by the city is going to relocate.
And to be fair, this is what Mandela has to work with, and I just don't think it's, and of course, for those that are not terminally online, Mandela put out his new propaganda accounts, which are supposed to, do all the stuff that the official side
Mandela
can't do.
HQ.
Yeah.
It's
like Kamala HQ all over again, which see how that went. But hey, buddy, why don't you worry about...
He should worry about winning the primary. Maybe spend some time beating up on Francesca Hong.
Yeah. And just don't put hands on any reporters. Come on. Don't do that.
So last thing we should probably talk about briefly is the Supreme Court race. Again, not the last one.
Yeah, we're done talking about that.
We're already talking about the next one. And Eric Brooks on our last episode called this, and I think actually when we had him on earlier in his first time, I think he called the candidate who's going to run. It's a woman who is a judge in Clark County. Now, Clark County is a 39% plus Trump county, yet she is a progressive lib. And I'll let Shadow Gov just talk about her for a minute.
Well, there was a lot of, I don't want to say there was controversy, but I was a little surprised, although I knew that they would probably, as soon as the Lazar Chris Taylor election was over, J.R. Ross was reporting, hey, this person, is already being considered for Supreme Court from the Dem side. Republicans there's no names that have really come up. Well, we are less than 2 weeks from that, and we already have, the Democrat has already announced, I think her name's
Lindsay Burnett.
Lindsay Burnett, yes. And she's not a brunette, she's a blonde, and she's got 5 kids and a husband, judge, former prosecutor as well, DA, in Clark County as well, if I am correct. And then transitioned to be the judge. And
who, again, won her race because those things went unopposed.
Yes. Which we've talked about this ad nauseum, and Brooks was here talking about this very issue. And you know how you beat these candidates? You know how you don't have to face these candidates for Supreme Court? You beat them at the DA level, at the judge level, at the local level. You know how you don't get Governor Evers? You beat him as DPI superintendent.
Right.
It's easier to beat them at the lower level.
Yeah.
Less money, less work than it is to beat them at the higher level.
We had some luck in that last cycle and some luck in this cycle in local races, Grant Scaife winning that judgeship in Washington County. And we did our part to try and oust that gal from Wood County, who turns out to be a far left Chris Taylor endorsed
that
that.
one really sucked.
She had, but that was a late hit, and I think
probably reaching a little bit.
Well, I think it was one of those things that had we been.
She was a little worried though.
Yeah, she was, because she put out this thing and said, "I denounce my endorsement of Chris Taylor,"
which no one ever followed up on.
No,
like other media.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. But she got scared because we put it out, and I think with a little bit more time,
because putting up endorsements that you didn't actually endorse of is like kind of a big deal.
Yeah, should be. I know legislators and candidates that got in trouble for that at the assembly level. They put people on, and they'd get they'd get a positive response from people on doors and be like, "Hey, can I put you on my endorsement list?" And they wouldn't know what that means. They'd be like, "Yes." And some people would be like, "Well, I actually really didn't endorse you. You just asked if I could, or we just had a good conversation at the door." But that's aside. I think had we had more time with the Heartland Post, that would have been a bigger deal. And I think by next cycle, it will be. We saw it in the past cycles when you had candidates who, even if they claimed to be conservative, were the Evers endorsed or the Evers appointed candidate getting ousted by, a conservative candidate just on that alone. So I think another cycle of that, we get there. But in this case, right, we got stuck because no one paid attention. I don't know why. No one at the state party or wherever, the county parties, are really paying attention to these judge races, and that's a lot of people's fault, ours included. Now we got to do better about that, of course. And this is our first April election. We're going to do more of them with our pod and the Heartland Post. But so Lindsay Brunette,
she's running,
and
she's got she's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, she is. And I think Brady Penfield may have kind of said the quiet part out loud as to why she's going to be tough to beat. The Liberal Supreme Court candidate for 2027 is a smoke show, and from the Northwoods. It's going to be an uphill battle. Not wrong, but not necessarily the thing you say. But hey, that's just him.
I mean, the Democrats have we talked about this last week, and I'm not going to belabor the point. Mm-hmm. They have a formula of kind of the suburban wine mom that happens to be really successful, and they don't really even have to run on much of a record or messaging wise. They just dump a lot of money, a good amount of money, and their turnout machine does pretty much the rest. So it's going to be a tough race. But the fact that I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired, boss. Can we just get through November? Can we get through August?
Yeah.
Can we get through spring?
Yeah.
Okay. Brad Schimmel announced, I think, in late spring, maybe early summer.
He announced early. He announced it almost a year early.
Did he do the same thing?
I think so.
I don't want to. I mean, I'm not a total hypocrite here, but I don't think Brad Schimmel announced 2 weeks after Dan Kelly lost.
Yeah, but he also didn't endorse. That was in. So he ran in 25. Yeah, he endorsed, and I think he jumped out.
Okay, because there was a break. We had a small break.
Yeah.
But this is literally 2 weeks after an election. Maybe just chill. Whatever. It is what it is. She's going to run, and it's just so she can start raising money.
Yeah.
You're not going to start seeing ads or something. That would be insane.
Right.
But she's going to raise probably a good amount of money, and it allows her to do that and probably get her war chest even before the new year.
Right. And unless the Republican Party of Wisconsin and gets their shit together and gets a candidate that we can actually get behind, we're stuck again in that because we're just consistently failing in spring elections.
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, but I do want to point out, though, that there was one person took umbrage with Brady's comment on Lindsay Brunette being a smoke show, and that was Kelda Roys.
His words, not mine.
Who said, "Gross, dude, no one asked you." And I think Kelda's just a little upset that no one's noticing her some GLP-1 success. But
I don't think anyone's noticing her campaign.
That's true. At 1%, you don't notice much about her.
So again, this is why she had to ambush Tom Tiffany the other day at his press conference.
And this is, talked about. She probably saw this not as an actual comment that she felt like she needed to make, but she knew that Brady
would rile some people.
Well, yeah, but Brady had that one comment where all of a sudden it got 40 million views because everyone realized he looks starting. Yeah, Mr. Based.
Mr. Based.
And so then the Republican side kind of piled on Kelda for getting all in a bunch about that.
I am quite literally, my only commentary on this is I'm tired of Supreme Court. I mean, we just talked about it.
Yeah.
I need a break. Just give me some Democrat chaos in the governor primary, and then I'll be ready to take on the lunacy that is another Supreme Court election.
With that, folks, hope you have a great Monday and a great week. If you like what you hear, make sure to leave us that 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, and even consider writing us a review. We'll read that on air. If you want to listen to more of what we have to say,
as long as it's acceptable.
Yeah, check out our prior episodes. Our recent one with Eric Brooks and Nicole Balistreri I thought was fantastic. If you want to read what we're writing, make sure to check us out at the Heartland Post. I wrote a few pieces this week about some of the things we talked about on air, but took a couple minutes to write about a former Marquette professor I had named John McAdams, who passed away 5 years ago last week, who was very influential to me, and I really enjoyed his class that he taught on the JFK assassination, and I really thought there were some things that were applicable to that are applicable to folks that are falling down that rabbit hole regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Shadow Gov, you have any articles you want to plug from this week?
Yeah, well, speaking of Charlie Kirk, I wrote a very opinionated piece on Charlie Kirk's sign that did not happen in Washington County, and how conservatives have to resist the aversion to build physical culture, or to build things that will outlast us. Statutes, buildings, names of buildings, names of monuments, plaques, you name it. Creating things that will outlast us, that kind of tie the history lessons we learn to the physical presence, and kind of bring it to life in a way, and how conservatives have kind of often pushed back because it's not fiscally responsible.
So make sure to check those pieces out at the Heartland Post. If you want to see everything else we've got, we're on Spotify, Substack, Facebook, X, at New Fashion Pod. Have a great Monday.